project, Closing the Gaps, Diversity in Programming Education. First, I would like to present the team that is working together in this project. The project is an interdisciplinary project, and I am leading the project together with Professor Barbara Savitzer from the School of Education here at JKU. In our project, we are collaborating with Professor Gordon Fraser from the University of Passau, the Pädagogische Hochschule Kärnten, and the Grammar School in Villach. In our project, we currently have one PhD student, her name is Lisa, and we have also a student researcher, and his name is Alexander Hofer, and both of them are working part-time in our project. Diversity, equality, and inclusion is a strategic mission of many universities around the globe, and here at JKU, for example, equality in educational and professional opportunities are strategically promoted with a dedicated women promotion plan. And this plan actually concerns both women's access to academic studies and also the active promotion of female students. Diversity is not just about gender disparities. It actually has many different facets. And in the figure you can see here on the right, you can see the diversity wheel of Gardenswarz and Rowe, and this diversity wheel actually presents 4 layers of diversity dimension. So the personality layer is in the center, and this personality layer is followed by internal dimensions such as race, age, or gender. The next layer is external diversity dimensions. So the external dimensions are, for example, educational background of a person and work experience. And the outer layer contains organizational dimensions such as the work location of a person or the functional level, for example. In our field, programming education for non-computer science students, we can also observe a high diversity among our students. So the ratio of male to female students in the previous semesters was around 60-40, and we can also observe diverse background knowledge among our students, for example. Around 10% of our students had a foreign educational background, and another 10% were second chance learners. So second chance learners have typically completed what we call a Studienberechtigungsprüfung or a Berufsreifeprüfung. We can observe a gender gap in our course with respect to performance, as well as a higher dropout rate of female students. And we can also observe this gap among students with a migration background and also second chance learners. The current research on diversity in programming education has mainly focused on gender differences. So in general, the number of women involved in programming is actually quite low, and this is also reported by many existing studies. And research has also shown, for example, that men and women have different learning perceptions. Women often have a lack of experience and unfortunately often a lack of confidence. There is still a lack of a broader research on the different diversity dimensions in programming education, and we thus do not yet know much about the influence of the other dimensions on the performance of the students in programming courses. And the goal of our project is to close this gap actually and to address the lack of support for heterogeneous groups of students in introductory programming courses. In our project, we have identified 3 research questions that we aim to answer in the course of our project. And the first question is, to what extent do the diversity dimensions influence programming education, performance, and what are the needs of heterogeneous groups? And to answer this question, we are performing a literature study as well as surveys and interviews with students, lecturers, and teachers. And I will explain the study that we are currently performing in our programming course and first results we gained later. The second research question is, how can we actively support individual students based on their identified needs to improve the programming education performance? And to answer this question, we are working on a novel didactic concept and teaching and learning material that actively supports competence-based learning. As a foundation for the didactic concept, we will use our cool informatics concept and further develop the individuality principle. I will explain our cool informatics didactic concept on the next slide. We also plan to include a competence model for introductory programming and link the competences of this model to our teaching and learning material. The third research question we aim to answer in our project is, how can algorithmic thinking be integrated into school curricula to flatten the learning curve of our future students? And for this, we will analyze existing school curricula to identify how to best integrate algorithmic thinking into existing school lessons. We will also prepare workshops and trainings for school teachers to actively support them in integrating programming concepts already into schools. Our didactic concept is called Cool Informatics, and COOL stands for Cooperative Open Learning. And our concept uses brain supporting teaching methods and materials. And with this concept, we have been nominated for the Ars Docenti in 2019. Our concept is based on 4 principles. You can see the 4 principles here on the figure on the right side. And based on these principles, we actually design our programming lectures and also the teaching and learning material we use in the lectures. The first principle is called discovery. So the discovery principle is, and discovery learning actually is supported by solution-based learning, by step-by-step instructions and tasks, by video tutorials we provide to our students, and also observational learning we use in our course. The second principle is the individuality principle, and this is currently supported by self-organized learning with compulsory and also optional tasks. And in this project, we will further develop this individuality principle to actively support inclusion and also competence-based learning. The third principle of our approach is cooperation. Cooperation is a very important principle of Cool Informatics, and we support it by team and group work, by peer tutoring and peer teaching, as well as pair programming. The fourth principle is the activity principle, and this principle is supported by learning by doing, learning by animation and simulation, as well as playing and designing games in the lectures. And we have already used this concept in our programming course, and we have been able to, in general, improve the learning outcomes of the students and also to reduce the dropout rates of our programming courses. And the students seemed to like the concept a lot, and they gave a very positive feedback to us. In this project, we are currently just about to complete the problem analysis phase. So to answer our first research question, we are currently performing a study in our Java programming course in the Business Informatics Bachelor program. And in this course, our students, they get different support services. They, for example, get weekly tutorials, they get different kinds of learning material. And in this semester, we are also using a programming learning platform called Artemis. And we're also trying out this platform to find out whether it helps the students to better learn programming. And in the course of this project, we are actually collecting data in the form of questionnaires and also interviews. And we are also analyzing the results of the weekly homeworks and also the results of the exams. Our tutors also note common problems and mistakes the students make in the weekly homeworks. And they also note the frequently asked questions and problems they report in the weekly tutorials. So in October 2020, when we started our course, we collected data with respect to the entry conditions of our course. So we collected data regarding the motivation of the students, their prior knowledge also. And in December 2020, we performed an interim survey where we collected further data regarding the students' learning experience and their learning strategies, also reactions to the course, and we further assessed the specific needs that they have in the course. In coming February 2021, at the end of our course, we will again collect feedback from the students and ask them about the support services that we provided to them and also their learning outcomes. So the next phase in our project will be the solution phase, in which we will use the knowledge that we gained from the study we are currently performing and to refine our didactic concept and develop suitable teaching and learning material. And after we have refined our concept and developed a new material, we will of course evaluate what we have developed in our upcoming programming course that will start in the next winter semester. Unfortunately, we could not yet really work with the teachers in schools that as we had originally planned due to the COVID situation, but we really hope that this will get better in the summer term. And if not, we will have to perform online trainings and plan for online workshops in schools. As I already said, we are currently just about to complete our course. So we just had our exam and we are currently collecting data regarding the exam results. And in February, our students will get a third questionnaire with a final feedback round. And we will finally also perform interviews with selected students, with the teachers and also with the tutors. And then we will, of course, perform a detailed analysis of the data we collected. But still, we have already collected data. We have the pre-test and also the interim survey. And I want to share some first preliminary results with you. What we found out in the pre-test is that actually, even though most students are in the first semester, more than 60% of our students are working besides their studies. Almost all students actually have a very good knowledge of German, and almost 90% of the students are Austrian citizens. 70% of our students are male and 30% are female. And the students in our course actually graduated from 8 different types of schools. So they have a really quite diverse background, and 20% even are second chance learners. 60% of our students do not have any background knowledge, so they are completely new to programming. 50% consider the course to be difficult or very difficult, but still 76% claim that they are interested in the topic or are interested or very interested actually in programming or learning to program. And the interim survey showed that we performed it in December, as I already said. 81% are actually interested or very interested. So the interest increased, and we're very happy about that, of course. So being very interested actually increased from 35% to 50%. And 70% of the students actually find our course good or very good. We could not yet find a correlation between employment, so working besides the studies, and the dropout rate. And the students really liked the step-by-step examples that we provided to them. And they also considered the tasks we gave them as homeworks as very helpful. And only 70% believe that they probably won't pass the course. So most of the students believe that they are actually able to pass the course. Few students seem to have a clear learning plan or learning strategy. In the pre-test, they claimed that they plan to constantly learn during the semester, which we found out in the interim survey was not actually true, because they only spent few hours in addition to the homework. So they did not spend that much as they originally planned or claimed to plan. Yeah, what we are also very happy about is we just got an acceptance notification of a first paper. We have a work in progress paper accepted at the IEEE EduCon conference, which is Global Engineering Education Conference in 2021. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have and discuss with you about